Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Dr. Ashley Little, corporate executive by day, serial entrepreneur by night, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, and founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLC. Tonight, we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Lucinda Cross. A little bit about her. Lucinda is a highly sought-after, powerful motivational speaker, business coach, spokesperson for Verizon as their small business combat coach, recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from former President Barack Obama, TV personality, entrepreneur, and best-selling author. She incorporates a mix of humor, straight talk, and her personal journey as a means to help others activate their vision and transform their lives. Lucinda is the founder of Activate Worldwide, LLC. We are a boutique marketing firm that supports small business owners with leveraging and monetizing their services and products. When small businesses reach a crossroads between stall growth and scaling to new levels, Activate Worldwide is here to bring a fresh perspective, access, and strategize their brand authority. Where a business owner may see no light at the end of the tunnel, we see opportunities to reposition their brand and diversify their revenue model. She is also the founder of Activate Your Life, a nonprofit designed to reduce for women by providing empowerment, education, and employment training upon re-entry. Welcome to the table, the legendary Lucinda Cross.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you at the table. So our listeners have heard your amazing bio. So you tell us more about your journey.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where you want me to start. I think the most important piece is that I am a woman and I'm here to support other women in not only activating their dreams, but how about make some money from it, right? And so that's what I do. I have 3 children. I call them 3 dragons, thanks to the Game of Thrones. But, I love what I do. I'm passionate about my cause with re-entry for women, working with at-risk youth. And, I'm just here to serve.
I love it. And so, Lucinda, you're very passionate about, definitely helping at-risk youth, but also helping small business owners take their brand to the next level. So can you tell us more about your passions?
Yeah. So one thing I realized, and I call them the best kept secrets, a lot of business owners, that we work with in the company with Activate Worldwide, we realize that a lot of business owners fall in love with what they do, their services, their products, but they're not creating a platform that they can build from for partnerships and joint ventures and making money and creating impact in their communities. And so we help them with identifying, what does that cause look like? What is that campaign about? And we help them just get there so that they can see some results. That's the bottom line. How do you see some results based on what you do? And our background is in marketing, a small boutique marketing firm. We've been around since 2006, and we've just been climbing and helping not only our own brand to rebrand and reinvent, but to help others look at it and say, all right, what's the trends? How can you be a forecaster in your own business and vision, and showing them how to stretch their brand to become marketable, scalable business models.
And, I've been following you consistently, and you are amazing. And so I want to dig deeper into, because I know you always speak about, activating, your vision, your life. And so what are some strategies you would give to listeners who are thinking small right now and not living out their true potential?
I mean, I don't even think they have permission to think small. Why not go big and then see what's out there? So I would say, we have to, and I have a joke, I even have a video on YouTube about it. I put fear on a piece of toast with some jelly. And I said, I literally eat fear for breakfast because every time you wake up, there's going to be something that's going to challenge you. There's going to be some sort of obstacle. So for the listeners, who are feeling challenged and frustrated, we are our greatest setback. And when we decide to set ourselves free, we'll be able to see how much we can do. And it's a beautiful thing. And we look at, oh, well, I don't have the support, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the time. And I think all of that is, I get it. But the reality is how often do we hold ourselves back? You always hear we are our greatest and our worst critics, but we're also the ones that set ourselves back. And I had to learn a hard lesson, to be honest with you. I had to learn an extremely hard lesson starting out in my business. And I want everybody who's listening to remember this, is hit the send button. 3 words. Well, that's 4 words. Hit the send button. And so the reason why I say that is because, in the start of my business, and at that time I had 2 small children, I'm leaving corporate America, I'm tapping into entrepreneurship, and I had an amazing opportunity because of my mentor. It wouldn't have came unless I served under him. And he put me in a position to be at $1 million round table. I didn't understand the value of that. I wanted to get in my business. I wanted to share my ideas with him, but he showed me that I needed to, 1, prepare for success, perfect my craft. And there was some things that I needed to learn. He wanted to cultivate my skills, my talents, and my abilities. And when I got to this round table, I'm going to tell you, the opportunity that was laid before me, and I was there just as a listener. He was there, him and his other colleagues and business associates, they've paid up to $50,000 to be at this one weekend with their coach. And they were able to bring a client or an assistant. So as his mentee, I was the assistant as well. And so I had the opportunity to get a joint venture with a major coach who did a lot of work internationally. So my marketing skills, her as a coach, connected with other coaches, thousands, like tens of thousands of coaches set me up. Long story short, I set myself back by limiting beliefs. Oh, I'm not enough. I don't have enough. This is not right. But my mentor brought me to the table. There was no excuse. And then this person seen potential in working with me. Not only did I work with her to show her that I could do the job in the pilot, I was offered an opportunity and an advance to get a joint venture. This is like up to 3 years in my business. The opportunity fell through because I was fearful. I dealt with procrastination and perfectionism. And also, I was a know-it-all. I'm going to be honest. Listen, no one can tell me nothing. I know what I'm doing. And I was a know-it-all. I dropped a 6-figure deal. And that probably was the worst thing that I ever could have done. And yeah, people say, oh, what God has for you is for you. That's true. But God is not going to wait for you to try to figure it out. So up until 3 years of your business, who wouldn't want to make 6 figures in the start just because you are who you are and who you're connected to? So, and when I say, hit the send button, I didn't submit the proposal. I kept going back and forth. Is this the right amount? Am I saying the right thing? Is this in the right category? And second guessing myself, my gifts, my talent, everything that my mentor groomed me for those 3 years up until that point. I did not hit the send button and allowed the perfectionist to seep in, and I missed out. And someone else sat in my opportunity and learned what I was training with her, and they had the opportunity for a joint venture. And all she had was a yes. No skills, no ability, no talent. She had to learn what Lucinda created, and she got the deal and the joint venture, and the rest is history. I was broke as a joke. My Holly Berry haircut turned into Celie from The Color Purple, and I said, I'll never procrastinate again.
Ooh, powerful, powerful. I hope our listeners are listening and writing these nuggets down, because Lucinda always leaves us with something, right? And so, Lucinda, we should go deeper, because I know you are a coach and you've coached, oh my man, thousands of women to be successful. And so, can you talk about the power of investing in a coach? Because I think sometimes people miss that part. Like you said, sometimes that people might think they can do it all themselves without getting help, but you need a good coach, right? Can you talk more about that, the power of investing in a coach?
Absolutely. And we have to be the first believers and investors in ourselves. I never stepped and approached anyone unless I've already invested in what I created and what I had. And it was to show that, do I really believe in this thing and do I want it? So investing in a good coach, because you have anybody can slap a label of a coach, and now with social media, anybody can look like a success. That's why I call them lookalikes. But the real work, who's really going to the bank? Me and JP Morgan Chase, that's my best friend. Like we're homies. Like we have a positive relationship, but the investing in a good coach will help guide you and shorten your learning curve, because you need somebody who can say, put this into place. You need someone who can also hold you accountable and cheer you on. And I think there's 4 people that you need. One is a coach, one is a mentor, one is a trainer, one is an accountability partner. That doesn't include your lawyer and your accountant. So that's like the Fab 5 plus 1. But you need a coach, someone to help push you through, someone to give you guidance, someone to give you direction. You need a trainer to show you how to use the skills, talents, and abilities that you have. You need a mentor, someone who can also shorten the learning curve. My mentor cut like 10, 20 years out of my business by just having access because of his reputation and who he was. And then also having the accountability partner, someone who can push you when you don't feel motivated. When you're like, someone who could say, well, what's your goals? What's your personal goals? What's your professional goals? My mentor drilled that into me every single day. It was annoying. I was like, listen, I don't have any professional goals. I don't want to think right now. But he pushed me to have an answer, and it's one of the greatest things. And then, of course, the accountant, because there's language you need, and then there's also your lawyer to make sure you are truly operating. But that coach is everything. And if you got a good coach, they'll be able to be your accountability partner, your mentor, and your trainer in one.
Oh, powerful, powerful, powerful. And so, the pandemic happened, right? And we're getting ready to be on the other side of it. And so what is some advice you would give to those business owners to, encourage them during this time? Because a lot of people, they either, continue to grow, right? And you have some that was waiting for the doors to open back up and didn't do anything, right? So what is some advice you would give to those business owners in this pandemic now? What should they be doing, right? Because you should be creating. You should be still going, right, regardless. But some people don't think that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, you should still be going. I mean, this is the best time because you have the attention of everyone, where before you were fighting for attention, you were fighting for a stake in the marketplace. And so why not create? I mean, you can literally try anything right now and put it out there to see what works for you and what works for your market. I remember back in 2017, Essence, I had some of the executives and editors at Essence on a panel at one of my conferences, the Activate conference. And they said, I'm telling you all, in the next 3 years, if you are not transitioning to digital, you will miss the wave. With 300 and some odd people sitting in the audience, I don't even think half of them caught it. And I listened and I said, okay, I'm on it. We have to go back to being virtual Lucinda. We have to embrace the digital wave. And so we were able to sustain and still thrive through this pandemic because we went back to what we were taught, what we were told, and understanding the trends. So if you're looking at this pandemic, my good friend from Chase Light, she said this is a plan-demic. And as corny as that may sound, this is the time to plan and put it out there. Plan and put it out there. Plan and profit. And so in this pandemic, you're not looking at, oh, well, this is not the time. I'm waiting for the world to open up. What does that mean? Like, what are you talking about? Do we have to adjust to this? I can't say this new norm, but we have to adjust to the way things are now. And we can only expect for the world to continue to advance. And if you're not willing to advance your business, your mindset, and you're sitting back wondering and wandering and, well, one day, someday, you're going to be left out. And jobs are looking slim. Businesses are thriving. Entrepreneurs are coming out the woodwork. And so why not? That's my thing. Why not now?
Why not now? And I have to ask you this question. We can't forget your book because it's done changed so many people's lives. Let's talk about your book, The Big Ask, and how can people tell us about it, and how can people go, continue to buy it and and purchase it and definitely learn from it, right? Because I know it's sold thousands and thousands of copies. So can you please tell us about The Big Ask?
Yes, I'm glad to tell you, and let me brag and toot my horn because I don't think women do it enough, right? I heard Grant Cardone. For those of you who don't know Grant Cardone, amazing. He's into sales, marketing, business strategies. He's up there with Gary Vee. And so he said one thing that women don't do is brag and toot their horn. And so I'm going to toot my horn. So my New York Times bestseller, The Big Ask, was written based off of a study that I have done with men versus women. And men have no problem with walking into the boardroom and figuring out, okay, if I get a no, how do I get a yes? Women second guess themselves before they even get to the door, before they even get to the boardroom. And they are talking about, do I look right? Do I sound right? Is my presentation okay? And they count themselves out at least 20 times before they have a seat at the table. And I wanted to dive into why is that. And so there's also some principles inside of the book that I share from my own personal experience of asking. And although it's not a female or male book, but really permission for women to go out there and get what they desire and they deserve. Why not ask? Yes, you've been let down before. Yes, you've dealt with some frustrations. Yes, you've dealt with what I call, and I'm not cursing, ask holes, ASKHOLES. Yes, you've dealt with those type of people, but why not put your ask out there? You never know where it can take you. And for me, it has led to phenomenal partnerships with Nike, with Prudential, with Verizon, with Delta. And I brag about it because I was the biggest one to count myself out before I even get to the table, before I can even hit the send button. And so why not ask? What is the worst thing that could happen? And a lot of times we just try to figure it out or wait for someone to try to be a mind reader to understand what's in our brain. But I'm all for the asking, not half asking it, but I'm all for the asking. And so I wrote a book about it, and it's been doing very well. It started out as a workshop. Then from a workshop, it started out as a workbook. From a workbook, people were like, well, where's the book at? Wrote the book, and now it turned into a whole movement. We have a podcast. We have a major conference that is heavily sponsored by your Fortune 100, 250, because they believe in this thing, and we've done corporate training, entrepreneurship training. And I say that because there's a fortune in your frustration. I want everybody to write that down. There's a fortune in your frustration. My frustration was missing out. My frustration was being looked over. My frustration was being the best kept secret. So I had to write about it because if I was challenged with it, I said, there's millions of others who are also challenged with it. So if I can help them ask, then we're good.
There is fortune in your frustration. That's powerful by itself. I hope you all are writing this down to our listeners that are listening. And something you just said, being the best kept secret. Visibility is key, and it's probably bigger than ever now with the pandemic going on. So what do you have for those people that are, they're out here killing it, but they are the best kept secret, right? What's some advice you would give to those listeners?
Well, one, I have a 28-day brand challenge that is ongoing. It just continues to keep recycling on Facebook. And I highly recommend everyone to join it. It's for free. We're not selling you anything. We just want to push you to the point of no return when it comes to credibility, visibility, and profitability. And so what I would tell those who are listening, write this down. I come from a teaching space. I'm in a trainer space. So there's credibility, visibility, and profitability. And so when you look at your credibility right now, make a list of all the podcasts you want to be interviewed on. Clubhouse is open, join a few clubhouses. Message those individuals. Let them know what you're passionate about. Try to become a moderator on some of those virtual stages. Invest in some time with Instagram Live. Invite people to the table. One thing that I was able to do for visibility was inviting people that I wanted to be a part of to the table. Essence just didn't show up. Essence didn't just ask me to be a speaker at their event or do this or do that. I had to invite their executives to different stages. Hey, I love what you're doing. I would love to talk to you about this and this and that. I've seen this article that you've written. I would love to have you come on. And so sometimes, and I call this borrowing power. Sometimes you got to borrow power. So if I can get one of Essence executives on board on my platform for Instagram Live, that means I'm getting all of Essence's network to tune in to what I have to offer. And a lot of times they're not looking to see if you have 11 followers. They're not looking to see if you have 3 million likes. They're just looking to see who's bringing great content, who's consistent, whose message matches what they say and their movements. And so that's one recommendation is, put yourself out there and create your own stage. No one asked for me to be on their stage. No one said, what? They said, oh, Lucinda, you're not an A-list speaker. I said, okay, A-list speaker. Who's A-list speaker? You know what? I'm going to invite all the A-list speakers on my stage, and I'm going to be the keynote on my own stage. So now what did that do? That up-leveled my stock. So now, hold up, Les Brown has to speak after I speak. Hold up, now Grant Cardone's wife has to speak after I speak. So I strategically placed myself on my own stage and invited other people to join me, which added to my stock. It's just that simple. Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and put yourself out there. I was the best kept secret. I knew I was dope. I just was like, who's going to pay for all of this dopeness? Who's going to pay for this hotness? I'm not giving this out. This is not free 99. I have kids to feed. So
I'm over here. Every time, Lucinda, you always bless us with some definitely knowledge that's gonna definitely shorten the curve. And if everybody's listening, she just gave you some $1 billion advice that will really change your life. So I hope everybody just wrote that down. And so, with that being said, Lucinda, you have created so many tables for others and so many for yourself. So I always ask my guests this question. You was just talking about how you built your own table. So how did you create your seat at the table? I'm going to change it for you. How did you build your own table?
You know what I did? I was working and I called them my sponsor because I knew it was time for me to leave. Anytime you show up to the job 2 hours late and you looking at them side-eyed like, what is your problem? Or your lunch breaks, you changing your hairstyle in between lunch breaks, it's time for you to go. So I knew that I needed to, and I was disrespecting their time. And so I knew I needed to make the shift for myself. So I built my stage by taking some of my paychecks, putting it to the side, and saying, this is for my future business. When the time came, I dipped into that savings, and I said, I'm hosting this event. And I hosted it at this amazing place. I said, I wanted, something extravagant. Found a beautiful mansion out in Long Island. And I said, I want to rent this mansion. They was like, what? We've never done a women's conference here before. I said, exactly. That's why we're doing it here. And I put my money into that, invested into the speakers. And so it took a heavy investment. And that's the key word, everyone. It's the investment. It's the belief. And I said, I'm pouring what I have into this one event, knowing that I'm going to get a return. And I'm going to place people that I want on these stages, including myself, and I'm going to make myself the highlight and not be the back burner. Because at this time, I was attending events, watching how these event holders were paying me a lot of money to be keynotes, but you don't know who the person is behind the brand. I wanted to do the opposite. Not only am I behind the brand, but you're going to see me, respect me, and want to hire me. And I strategically did that. But I had to create my own stage and pay for that space and pay for those speakers and invest in a coach to give me guidance on what is my call to action? What is my back of the room? Back in those days, they called it the back of the room sales. What is my back of the room sales? So that I just don't have people here feeling good, but I'm walking away broke. And so That's how I created my own stage, creating your own workshops, trainings, programs, offering. You get to the top when you begin to teach. And I don't care what stage in business you are. There's something that you can teach someone to do, and they will be willing to pay for it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And so after I've done that, I said, okay, I'm going to teach people how to create their own stage. Literally. And so it worked out. But Activate, I would say 2013 was the first space that I created, and I owned that space, branded it out, branded the marketing, and did the work, I would say 6 to 9 months before everyone showed up. My very, very first conference, I'm tooting my horn again, because some people say, oh, I don't mean to. I'm bragging, because I cried. I lost my mother that year in May. My conference was in September. She was the one helping me and investing in my first keynote speaker, Les Brown. So it was a lot going on. But prior to that event, I was doing tours and going to different states that people didn't know me, and was saying, hey, I'm here. Who wants to learn marketing strategies? Who wants to learn how to build their business? Who wants somebody that who can listen to them about their ideas and help them pull it together? People were showing up. That first event, first conference, man, when I tell you busloads were coming from DC, I still have the pictures. Busloads were coming from DC and Baltimore and Virginia, unloading to come to New York City for this conference. And I just sat there in tears because I wanted to give up. And that's another thing. This pandemic put the grief and fear in so many. I mean, for me, there's no greater grief than losing your own mother, and so I had to push through that. And it was by the grace of God. It was by the grace of my team. But what did I do? I believed in myself, and I invested in myself. And I said, I'm not stopping. If there's one thing that I can show her, is I'm going to show her that I did this. She's going to see this, not in the physical, but the spirit. She's going to see everything that I said that I would do. And and that's why I say we have to push ourselves to the point of no return. What are you scared of? The most richest place on this earth, Les Brown calls it the graveyard. I say it's the graveyard in the prison. People are prisoners in their own minds, and just want to do the minor things. I want to go big. I don't care what it is. I always have to 10x everything.
I love it. I mean, and I just want to go a bit deeper here because I know you just spoke about doing the work, and that's key. But a lot of people, they see the accolades, but they don't want to really do the work. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
You have to be the queen of deep. Like you are digging, and this is a good thing because you're digging so deep to pull out for your audience what they need to hear. And I love that, and I respect that, because I don't want to come up here and talk about, oh, look at me. It was hard work, sometimes with no clients, with no team, with no money. There's times that I had to send my children to my mother's house because my lights were turned off. That clicked for me. How am I helping everybody make 6-7 figures with my little old laptop, but here I am broke? You can either be passionately profitable or passionately poor. And one day I dropped the kids off to my mother, and I said, Ma, I need you to hold them down. There's some work that I need to do. I don't want them to know that the lights is off and this and this and that. And she said, oh, what are you, an entrepreneur? And I said, what? She said, you are an entrepreneur. You need to do something with your degree. I said, wow. She said, business owners are supposed to make money. You're not making any money. You're making everybody else money. But I'm here taking care of your kids, paying half their tuition. Like what's going on here? And that moment, it shifted for me because I said, duh, I'm not going to be passionately poor. I need to turn this into some profit. I need to charge what I'm worth. So there was times, I dealt with clients and that didn't pay. I dealt with not having clients. I dealt with having to rebrand myself and shut my business down. I've dealt with, trying to create programs just so I can to get some income. I've dealt with, investing in advertising that didn't give a return. I've worked with coaches that I spent a lot of money on who gave me cookie cutter stuff with sheets of paper that was a cookie cutter system that wasn't really significant for my business. I've attended conferences and events and just left home with a bunch of hype and motivation. So I've been there, and I said, if I can create something different to add value, even if it's real and raw, there's a network in the audience who's tired of being fluffed. Let me give someone the real and raw. And when I realized what was happening in, the other markets, the male-dominated markets, they were oversharing, overgiving, and they kept everything within their circle. And I said, you know what? We need this. I need to be a part of a circle. I need to be a part of a tribe. Where's the Get Money crew? I need this. And so being and strategically placing myself within networks. At that time, it was only Facebook and Twitter. We didn't have all this other stuff now, but it was Facebook and Twitter. I said, I need to be a part of these groups who are supportive and who share ideas and who are oversharing and overgiving. And I started doing that to my market, and it was a win. It was a win for me. But to go deep, like you said, there was times that I sat back and didn't know what to do. There was times that I took on clients that I didn't want to work with, but I knew that I needed the money. There was times, because back in those days, in order to connect and network, you had to go to networking events and pass out business cards. So I did the grind work, passing out business, and I'm an introvert. I don't like talking, believe it or not. I'll get on any stage and do what I need to do, but I'm not going to put me in, I don't want to sit, I don't thrive off of talking to a bunch of people. Like, I'm good with being in my corner and being to myself. So I had to push myself to go out there and network, pass out cards, understand my elevator pitch. And so it was work. It was a lot of grind work. It really was. A lot of hours, reading books, getting up early, going to bed late. I remember one time when my son was about 7 or 8, he said, well, Mom, because he heard me talking to my assistant, he's like, well, Mom, how do me and my sister pencil time in with you? And I said, what? But what I wasn't realizing is he was seeing the back of my chair for so long because I was trying to push this passion with no profit because I wasn't charging what I was worth. So there was a lot of ups and downs that I had to go through, a lot of grind work. And, we're here today. We're here today. Not only do we employ women, we support women, we build their businesses up as well. Anyone who works with me. You're not just going to work with me and then that's just it. You're going to work with me and you're going to leave with a thriving business that's 6 figures and above. And the reason why is because I showed there's a blueprint, and it's not about working hard. And so I showed them that by example.
Powerful. And you pretty much just answered my question. I was being ready to ask you, what did failure teach you? So I'm
I got to be ahead of the game with you. So,
it was coming, but I'm like, hey, she just pretty much summed it all up. So what did success teach you? That's my question. What did success teach you? Because you're very, very successful.
For me, there's always another level. So I wouldn't even say it's success. I'm comfortable, and that's dangerous, right? I'm comfortable, and for me, success is still having room and space to grow. So I haven't reached the peaks that I want. I set goals, I reach them, and it hypes me up. Like I always share, dopamine that's your best friend. So I set these small goals, and then that dopamine inside just starts revving things up to say, okay, Lucinda, let's go higher. Let's go higher. And I tell God, I say, I apologize because I just keep coming back for more and more and more. But for me, there's always another level. But for me, if I was to even describe success, and this is how I intentionally set up my business, I call it a lifestyle business, a business that complements the lifestyle that I want to live. But if I could describe success as doing, I think Tony Robbins said this, doing what you want, when you want, how you want, where you want, with who you want, right? And not looking at, oh, well, I'm limited because, and I never want to be in a limited space. So when I tell you that my lights were off, they were off, not just for a day. You know, when I tell you that a client didn't pay and I didn't understand my value and my car was towed and I'm running and trying to hide my car behind the supermarket so the tow truck doesn't see my car. You know, when I tell you that I'm parking far so that I don't get repoed, that's real. So I know what lack tastes like. And there's either you could live in the land of just not enough, just enough, or more than enough. And I'm pushing to get to more than enough. You know, now I can say I can do what I want, when I want, how I want, with who I want. But the more than enough, I want effortless millions. Can we get lazy? Like I'm sorry, it sounds bad. I'm not even apologizing. I want lazy. I talk to my mastermind group. The money these ladies, and it's not just money, they're also providing huge impact. And when I mean that is, I want to be able to say, for 2021, and it's on my vision board, I want to sow at least $100,000 into my church as a tithe. How much money do I need to make to get there? You see what I'm saying? And so I want to be, and whether that's to my church or whether I'm giving, whether I'm helping, whether I'm helping a single mother, I want to be able to go into Con Ed and pay somebody's Con Ed bills. Listen, everybody off the line. Forget these people, you know, or if I could go in a supermarket and all right, everybody right here, groceries paid, Christmas paid. This, you know, that's the type of mindset that I want when I say do what I want, because I have such a giver's heart and I thrive off of that. But you need to earn to get to that space. So that's what success is for me. I know I gave you the long version, but I want people to understand how important acts of service is, because people say, oh, well, money's the devil, and you know, she's just talking about getting it. But that wealth language, when I'm able to be in a position to help someone who looks like me or who potentially went through what I went through, that to me is everything. That single mother whose car may be towed, I want to tell her, listen, who's repoing what? What's the bill? You know, here, we're writing it off, you know, and so, or matter of fact, here's a new car. So that's when I get there and you see me running around like Oprah Winfrey talking about, you get a car, that's success for me.
I love it. I just want you to know, like, kudos. I mean, definitely humble to have you at the table, and you have definitely paved the way for a lot of people, including myself. And so I just want to give you your flowers, okay? And I know, like you said, you got more to do, but you are amazing. So I just want to make sure that you know that, and I know you know that.
Thank you.
And so,
no, but it's good to hear it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
yes, and so. Can you tell us, I mean, we're in the second quarter now, and I know you probably already in next year, but what can we expect from you the rest of 2021?
So, for the rest of 2021, the goal is, you know, I want to be able to produce content. I was a part of this project with Verizon called the Comeback Series. And it really ignited an old passion of mine to get back into communications and media and creating a platform and a space for people to be seen and heard. So the goal is to partner up with one of these companies to really be that voice and that platform and producer for that content so they can get out there more than ever. You know, in addition to what's being done on social media, I still think there's valuable content in watching someone's story, not just the rags to riches, but the come up and the strategies. And so, you know, that's what we're working on. Of course, I have the Big Ask conference that's coming up in August. My nonprofit, which supports reentry women, that's in October. And, you know, the passion projects that I have, you know, funneling from quarter to quarter. But the main thing is getting this show on the road and getting it produced and out there.
Well, super congratulations in advance. Can't wait to see all God is going to continue to do in your life this year. And so congratulations for everything that you shared and that you did not share. I can't wait to see everything that you get ready to produce and create. So congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
So will you please tell our listeners, how they can follow you and support you on all social media platforms and book you?
Absolutely. And listen, everyone who's listening, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you got to become what I call Google-licious. Google-licious, baby. And so, you can definitely check me out. Just put in Lucinda Cross, lucindacross.com. I love to hang out on Instagram. So come follow me and some of my crazy stuff that's going on over there on Instagram. And that's Lucinda Cross. Clubhouse is Lucinda Cross. Facebook is Lucinda Cross as well. And Lucinda Speaks on Twitter. And you'll always get good content, inspiration. I would say edutainment, right? A little bit education and a little bit of entertainment because, like I said, I love having fun and showcasing that fun. So I would love for them to follow me there, and I promise I'll follow you back.
So make sure you follow and support Lucinda. She's definitely somebody to know and connect with. So Lucinda, thank you again for coming to the table. I'm humbled to have you at the table, and I cannot wait to invite you back.
I can't wait to be back. I love this. I love your questions. I love deep dive interviews. And so thank you for the push. For your audience and as well for me to give me something that when I drop to my knees tonight to say, God, I thank you for that. I thank you for the time my lights was off. So thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. And you know what? I'm humbled for you to say that, okay? So just know that you made my night, okay? And I'm serious, okay? So I'm going to keep pushing. That just gave me some extra push to know that Lucinda Cross said you asked good questions that I love what you're doing. So thank you. I love everything that you're doing, consistently follows you. And, hey, thank you for paving the way. And I mean that sincerely from the heart.
Oh, thank you.
You are welcome. So I would like to give a special thanks to my intern, Sarah, who is a Tennessee State University alumni. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my intern, Vontaria, who is a student at Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Dr. Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.